Welcome to our first episode of ScrewUp Exchange. In this episode, we will talk about burgers, imperfect English, and motivation that formed a lasting relationship of two guys from two different sides of the world.
Hi, my name is Patrick.
Hi, my name is Drasko. Patrick, when was the last time you screwed up?
Actually, you wouldn't believe it, but I was running a little bit late today, and I missed my train.
Yeah.
So what had happened was I was going up to the train station. I was going to the ticket machine, and I put in a 20 euro bill like 3 or 4 times while I was trying to get the ticket. It would not accept the bill, so I'm like reaching through my pocket to my wallet and grabbing another bill, wouldn't take it. Eventually I found a smaller bill and I put it in, and finally I was able to get my ticket. But as I'm doing this, as I'm seeing the train pull up, I'm like, oh my God, I'm not going to make it. And I was thinking to myself, you know what? I really could just get on the train, because right now it's during the Corona crisis. I haven't seen a single ticket checker.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but I was just thinking to myself, no, I really should buy the ticket. So like I'm waiting. I finally grab the ticket. I even leave the change, and I'm running to the station. I see the people looking at me directly in the eye, and then it just shuts. And I'm like, I could have thrown my hand in there to stop the door, but I'm like,
yeah. But you see, I think, in this case, was it worse? Was it raining outside?
Yeah, a little bit.
So I can imagine that it was like a very, very huge screw up. But it's really funny. I mean, you are becoming so German that you're paying with cash. And something similar, but on the opposite way, happened to me when I was first time in the US, and I was paying everywhere with cash, right? And you guys were paying all over with
credit cards.
And remember, you took me, on my bucket list was to go to have a hot dog, a real American hot dog or a burger in a street food or food cart, right? And so Patrick took me to the food cart, and it was like a very small food cart, and it's called Badass Burger, right? Badass Burger. And I was like thinking, what the crazy name? Okay.
And I still remember you getting the biggest burger they had on the menu, as well as getting all the toppings. I was just sitting here like, there's no way on God's great earth he's going to be able to eat all this thing. And I was just like, Drasko, that's going to be about like $15.
Was it so much?
Yeah,
oh my gosh.
And I remember you going up and you're like, okay, I'm trying to pay with cash. And the guy just looked at you strange. It's like, yeah, we would prefer you pay with a credit card.
Right. And I was thinking myself, a food card, how the hell are you paying in a food card with a credit card? Because where is the device? And this guy had like on his phone a small device where you just swipe the card. And it was the first time I saw something. I must say it was like 8 years ago. 2012. It was 2012.
Yeah.
I remember.
Wow. That's a long time.
Time is flying.
Getting old.
And yeah, that's funny. And this was a lessons learned for me. So from this point on, every time when I came to the States, I used more and more to buy with a credit card. Now I have a credit card without fees, so I can just buy. I don't even have cash anymore in the States, and I don't even have cash anymore in Germany. So that's lessons learned when I'm traveling with the public transportation in Germany. I use an app where you can buy without money, so it's much easier, right?
Yeah, I'll do that when I'm leaving here.
Yeah, but this I mean, funny that we are back in the United States, and it was actually my first training, and this was one of my, let's say, huge screw-ups in the last few years, doing this training for you guys. And I need to say it was the first time I ever traveled to the United States. So before that, I was not even for vacation there. So I had to do the first time a training at all. I never did a training before, not even in German. So I was asked to do a training in the States, the first time in English. The training that was supposed to be 10 days, it was like shortened for 6 days because it was like before Christmas, something like this. It was like winter time, I remembered. And I said, okay, I will do it to my boss then, and back in the days. And I went to Portland, 9 hours time difference, which made it even more worse.
Yeah, I remember that. But the training was pretty good what I really liked about the training was like the first day you're like, hey, I'm Drasko. And it's like, this is my first training. And
did I say that?
Yes, you did. And I was laughing because you were training a bunch of people from the West Coast. There was some people from Mexico, and then the majority of them were coming from the southern states. So you had like 3 different dialects that you were dealing with. Yeah. And we were just having a blast with your dialects.
I can imagine that. Yeah. I remember there was this one guy, he was from the South, and I had really a hard time to understand him. But then I realized.
Yeah, so it was funny. He asked a question in class, and it was regarding this one topic of logistics, and I didn't even understand him. He said the question. I'm like, I don't understand what he said. So when you went to say, so it's like, oh, could you repeat that? I didn't quite understand. The entire classroom just burst out laughing because we all were like, yeah, we didn't understand him. So we had to go talk to him. He's just like, what are you asking? And at that point, I think you finally loosened up a little bit because you were all super nervous.
Yeah. Oh, I was so nervous. I mean, it's like this, you want to deliver a good service for the people, and I mean, with all the stuff, and I remember that the slides or the training material was a translation from German to English from a machine, and there was not a really it was a machine translation, and somebody went through it, but they didn't put a lot of time to double read it and to double check it, so it was really something very, very poor translated.
Was it like someone that was native tongue as English, or was it still a German speaker or somebody else?
I think it was a German speaker. We didn't have that much native English speakers in our department these days. So it was like, it was like around 1,000 slides.
Yeah, that's crazy.
You remember the one slide when I was like, when you guys asked me what does it mean, and I was looking and I didn't know the word in English, so I was pulling up my German original material. I was looking at the slides, and I was looking again on the slide and the slide in German. I was saying, that doesn't even make sense in German, right? So it was like a combination between poor translation, a first draft of a training material that was not really very well
fine-tuned. It wasn't
fine-tuned. Yeah, it's a good. And it made me a bad headache, and it was a combination with the jet lag and everything. It was like so hard doing this training.
So like, how did you manage doing all this? So like you said, you got to Portland. It was 9 hours difference. Mm-hmm. You noticed on the second day, I think it was, that like most of the training was really bad translated. Mm-hmm. Like, what did you personally do?
It's funny. So after every class, it was the time where I was already awake again in the day. So it was like 6-7 o'clock. I went with you guys to dinner, and then I sit down and I was looking in my room and was double checking the material in German. I was writing emails to the guy who did the training, or who made the training. So I was talking with him, and he tried to explain me something on this. So then I realized what he wanted to say with the slide. So it was like the short or immediate measurements I did to measures to implement to save it somehow, and not to sound like a total idiot there. But and then we finished the training somehow. You guys passed the test as well, and everything went fine at the end. But I really went back to Germany and with this lessons learned in my mind. I need to do better. I need to rework on the slides. It will be a lot of effort, but there is no chance to do this kind of training again in this manner. So I needed to really to work on the slides and to change them and really go with native speakers through
Right.
it, and also improve my English. So I started to read more in books in English, listen to podcasts, listen even to movies, and now in English. And yeah, I mean, it's still not perfect, but yeah, I can.
Oh, it's much better. Trust me, it's much better.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, yeah.
But it sounds like it was a lot of work, a lot of extra work that you had to do.
Yeah.
I know that we had trainings later that were probably in the same starting conditions, starting way, and I did hear about people later like taking that same training, and it was like vastly improved than we did when we took it. So
Yeah.
So like of all the things that you're thinking about in this, like your first training, like what do you really want people to know?
Yeah, I mean, the most important thing after this, and just imagine not succeeding with something in an environment where you have never been in front of people that have high expectations, and you did such a mess with a job. From my perspective, I said, I need to improve this. So I didn't, there were two options. I said I would never do this training again, but I must also say that the environment, the guys or the class there was really friendly to me. So it gave me like an extra point of motivation to work the next time when I have a class to do a much better job. So I really started to do something to work on this on this training material, not to stop, not to give up and say I don't care how it is and somebody else should do it. It was at the end it was really my baby, so I was really doing this training. So it was really a lot of work to do, but yeah, at the end, with the years I did this training, I think since 2012 at least. Once a year, so till 2018, and it become every year better and better. So it's a constantly improvement. It's a constantly improvement also on my language, and yeah, that's how it went, right?
Cool.
And I don't remember the badass burger anymore.
I still think you owe me money for that, though.
Oh, okay. We will exchange it for dinner.
We don't want our screw-ups to become yours. So watch our next episode and see how shopping carts, COVID-19, and engagement are connected.